Good morning, Year 4, and welcome to today's maths lesson. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's lesson with Miss Franklin. We're going to be continuing our learning today on fractions of quantities, but we're going to do our do now first, just recapping from yesterday with our unit fractions. So remember, the unit fractions is one that has a 1 on the numerator. So you're going to be finding 1/3 of 24, 1/6 of 30, and then on this side you're looking for the missing whole. So 1/8 of something equals 4, and 1/9 of something equals 12. And you've also got a word problem to have a go at as well. So pause the video and come back when you're ready to mark it. Off you go. Okay, hopefully you have managed to have a go at all those questions. I'm going to show you the answers now. So question number 1, 1/3 of 24 is 8. Question number 2, 1/6 of 30 is 5. Question number 3, 1/8 of 32 is 4. And 1/9 of 108 is 12. And then for our word problem, there were 56 pieces in the whole model because 1/4 was 14, so I need to do 4 times 14. Well done if you got that one correct. So today we are going to be looking at calculating non-unit fractions of quantities. So yesterday we were looking at unit fractions where the numerator is 1. Today we're going to be looking at non-unit fractions where the numerator is larger than 1, but it's still, remember, smaller than my denominator, or that would be an improper fraction. Okay. So our first problem we're going to look at, and we have our steps to success on the side here to help us. So a school has 280 pupils. 3/4 of them get to school by car. How many pupils get to school by car? So I'm going to look at my steps. First thing I want to do is underline the key information. I'm thinking about what is the whole and how many equal parts are there. What am I trying to find out? So the main thing here is the school has 280 pupils. 3/4 of them get to school by car. How many pupils get to school by car? So that's what I'm trying to find out. At the minute, I know the whole is 280, and I'm trying to find 3/4 of that. I'm just going to write that in my fraction to help me as well. So I'm looking for 3/4 of 280. Okay, so I've done step 1. And then step 2, we're going to draw a bar model. Now, I've already drawn that on here today to save time while you're watching the video, but you can be drawing your own at home. So the next thing I am going to do, I've done step 2, I'm going to divide the whole by the number of parts. So I've already recognised my whole is 280 because that's how many pupils there are in total. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts on my bar model because I'm looking for quarters, and there are 4 equal parts. So my calculation that I need to do is 280 divided by 4. Now, it's a little bit tricky here because I may not know how to work this out in my head, but I can use my times tables facts. So you may know the relationship between 28 and 4. So I want you to think 4 times something is equal to 28. 4 times something is equal to 28. Now I know the answer to that is 7. So if 4 times 7 is 28, then 4 times 70 must be 280. So now I know my answer here is going to be 70. So I've divided for step 3. Okay, now step 4, I need to label each part of my bar model. So each quarter represents 70. Okay, I've labelled each part. Now for the final part, I need to add the number of parts that I need. Now I'm going to go back to the question, think what is it that I need? So I'm looking for how many pupils get to school by car. Now I already know it said 3/4 get to school by car, so I know that's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for 1, 2, 3 of those quarters, 3 lots of 70. So 70 times 3, I can probably do that in my head with my 7 times tables, 7, 14, 21, so I know the answer is going to be 210. So 210 pupils come to school by car. Okay, right, let's look at another example. Okay, so a plane has 350 people on board. 2/5 of those people are children. How many children are on the plane? So looking at my steps, the first thing I'm going to do is underline the key information that I need. So the plane has 350 people on board in total. 2/5 of those people are children. I'm looking for how many children are on the plane. So I'm just going to write that as a fraction. My 2/5. So there are 350 people in total, and I'm trying to find 2/5 because I want to know how many children there are. So I'm looking for 2/5 of 350. So I've underlined my key information. Now I need to draw my bar model to help me. So again, I've already got my bar model here, and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts because my question says fifths. So there are 5 equal parts on my denominator. So the next thing I need to do, step 3, is divide the whole by the number of parts. So I need to identify what that whole is first. And I know the whole, in total there are 350 people on board. So I'm going to label that on my bar model. The whole is 350. Okay, then I need to divide by the number of parts. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the calculation that I'm going to be doing is 350 divided by 5. So again, might be a little bit tricky to work that out, but I can use my times tables facts to help me. So hopefully we can recognise the relationship between 35 and 5. So 5 times something is equal to 35. What's the answer? 5 times... Hopefully you're saying 7 is 35. 7 times 5 is 35. So 35 divided by 5 is also 7, but I need to remember this number is 10 times bigger. So 350 divided by 5 is going to be 70, okay? So I've divided the whole by the number of parts. I've done step 3. Now I need to label each part. So I'm going to label each part 70. Okay, I've labelled each part. And the final step I need to do is add the number of parts that I need, okay, which is telling me on my numerator. So 2/5 of these people are children. So I'm looking for 2/5. So 70 add 70. Again, I can use my times table fact to help me. I know that 7 add 7 is 14. So my answer, 70 add 70, must be 140. So 140 children. Okay, we're going to look at one more example together before you have a go on your own. Okay, a packet of paper has 250 sheets. 3/5 of the packet has been used. How much paper is left? So let's start by underlining our key information. So the packet of paper has 250 sheets, so that must be how many are in the sheet to begin with in total. 3/5 of the packet have been used. How much paper is left? So it's a little bit different this time because I'm looking for something slightly different in my final step. So we're going to follow the steps first and then we'll have a think about that afterwards. So first of all, I've underlined my key information. I now need to make sure I've got my bar model to help me. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts because again, this question is asking me in fifths. So I've got 5 equal parts. So I've got my bar model. The next thing that I need to do is divide the whole by the number of parts. So I know there were 250 sheets in the paper to begin with. So I'm going to label my whole. And this time, I want you to think, what am I going to be dividing by? What's the next calculation I need to do? Divide the whole by the number of parts. What calculation do I need to do? Okay, hopefully you're saying I need to do 250 divided by 5, because there are 5 equal parts, I'm looking for fifths. Okay, so start to think, what is the relationship between these numbers? What is my answer going to be? I'm going to use my multiplication factor to help me. 5 times something is equal to 25. 5 times 5 is 25. So 250 divided by 5. I know my first digit is going to be a 5, but it's 10 times bigger because it was 250. So I need to add a 0 back on the end there. Okay? So I've divided the whole by number parts. The next thing I need to do is label each part. So each part is 50. 50, 100, 150, 200, and 250. So all of my parts add up equally to 250. So I've done step 4. The final thing I need to do is add the number of parts. So this is where I need to read the question really carefully and think, what is it I'm looking for? So my question says, 3/5 of the packet has been used. How much paper is left? So I can label my 3/5 has been used. So 50, 100, and 150. So 150 sheets have been used, but the question is asking how many are left. So I'm not looking for the 3/5, I need to count the remaining 2/5 because that's how much is left over when we have used these 3 parts. So I need to count these 2 parts here. So this is what is left, and there are 50, 100 sheets. So how much paper is left? There are 100 sheets left. Okay, so I've done step 5. Okay, so you have some questions on your screen now. There are 3 questions. They get a little bit harder and you need to think really carefully about what the question is asking you. Because remember in the last 2 questions, in the last question there, we were looking for what was left. So think really carefully what the question is asking you for. So your steps are on the side to help you. If you want to draw the bar model out at home, I've given you an example there to help you. So pause the video, make sure you read the questions really carefully and draw your bar models to help you, and then come back when you think you've got it. Off you go. Okay, hopefully you've managed to have a go at those. Don't worry if you didn't need to use the bar model to help you, but it's really useful to do that to represent it to make sure that we've got it correct. So we're going to have a look at the answers together now. Okay, so Fred is 200 centimetres tall. His sister is 8/10 of his height. How tall is his sister? So I had 10 pieces in my bar model. I need to do 200 divided by 10 because I'm looking for 8/10. Okay, so I did my bar model. I did 200 divided by 10 is 20, so each part is labelled 20, and then I've counted 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 160 should have been your answer. Well done if you managed to get that one correct. Number 2, a bag of sugar weighs 300 grams. Maria uses 4/6 of the bag to bake a cake. How much is left in the bag? So it's a little bit tricky that time, like that last question that we looked at. So a bag of sugar weighs 300 grams, so that is my whole, and we're breaking it into 6 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 of them is what she used, so she used 200, but we were looking for what is left. So there should have been 100 left over. So if you've got 200, just be careful that we read the question carefully because it was looking for what is left over. Okay, question 3. A bicycle cost £125, but 2/5 was taken off the price in the sale. What is the new cost of the bike? So started, it was 150, my whole. 125, sorry. 125 divided by 5, because that's my denominator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each part was 25. It's taken off 2 of the 5, so £50 has been taken off, and there should have been £75 left over. A little bit tricky at that time because the wording of the question, but well done if you managed to get that one correct. Okay, let's move on to the next section now. We're now going to look similarly to yesterday, what happens when I've got the whole that is missing. So I'm looking for 2/5 of something equals 6. 2/5 of something equals 6. So I've got my parts, I know how many equal parts there are, and I've got 2 of them here. So it's a little bit different to yesterday, so listen carefully to your steps to success. So draw the bar model with the same number of equal parts as the denominator. So I've done 5 parts in mine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to match the denominator. The next thing I need to do is label the correct number of parts with what you know. So what I know is 2/5. It's not 1/5 today, I'm looking for 2/5 in this question. So I can't just label one of the parts and then add them all together. I need to label 2 of the parts. So 2 of the parts are equal to 6. So now I need to divide to find one of the parts. Now the number that I'm dividing by is going to be 2 because this is for 2 of the parts. I'm always going to be dividing by my numerator. So 6 divided by 2. 6 divided by 2, I know is 3. Hopefully you've got 3. So each part there represents 3. So now that I've found what one of the parts is, I know that all of them have to be the same because remember they're equal parts when I'm looking at my fractions. So I can then label all of the parts. So that one's 3, that one's 3, and that one's 3. Okay, so now that I've labelled all the parts, I can add all of my parts to find the whole. Now I could do 3, add 3, add 3, add 3, add 3, but remember as we discussed yesterday, it is more efficient to maybe multiply. So I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 times 3, which is equal to 15. Good. So let's just pop that in. That should be my answer, but we're just going to check that it is correct. So if I was finding my fractions of quantities, remember I would do 15 divided by 5, which equals 3, and then that answer times 2, which would give me 6. So I know that is correct. Okay, let's look at another example of that before you have a go on your own. Okay, so this time, 3/4 of something is equal to 12. So first thing we're going to do is draw our bar model with equal parts as the denominator. So I've got 4 parts in my bar model. The next thing I need to do is label the correct number of parts with what I know. So what I know this time is 3/4. So I know 3 out of 4 are equal to 12. 3 of the parts together are 12. So the next thing that I need to do then is divide to find one of the parts. So 3 parts are equal to 12. What is one part going to be? So I need to do 12 divided by that numerator, 12 divided by 3, because there are 3 parts. 12 divided by 3, thinking in your head, is equal to 4. Fantastic. So I know that each one of these parts is 4. So now I can label all the parts. I've only got one remaining, but I know that it's also going to be 4 to make it equal. So I've labelled all of those. Now I can add it together. Okay, so adding it together, 4, 8, 12. Okay, fantastic. Hopefully you got 16 as well. Let's just check that with my calculation. So 16 divided by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Fantastic. So the bar model is really useful to help us. And then you can also use your calculation like we practiced a couple of weeks ago to check that as well. Fantastic. So you're going to pause the video in a moment and go away and have a go on your own. Do draw the bar models to help you, but if you're really, really confident, you can have a go at doing it without the bar models, as we have already practiced this before. So pause the video and come back when you're ready to mark it. Okay, hopefully you've had a go at all of those. Bit tricky with timetables down here, but let's see how you did. Okay, 2/3 of 24 is 16. 5/7 of 49 is 35. 4/7 of 63 is 36. And 8/9 of 54 is 48. Really well done if you managed to get those correct. Let's move on to some reasoning now. Okay, so Daniel completes the following calculation. He's saying if 2/9 is 18, then the whole is 36. So I want you to think about what mistake has he made, and then explain and use a bar model to prove your answer. So I've given you some sentence starters there to help you. So Daniel has explained what mistake he's made. I don't just want to see Daniel has done it wrong. We know that it's wrong, but what do you think he could have done? What calculation has he done? How has he got confused? What is it that he could have done? So look at the relationship between the numbers and think about what mistake he has made. And then what should the answer be? So pause your video and have a go at that, and then make sure you've explained it, drawn a bar model to prove it, and come back when you're ready. Okay, hopefully you have had a go at that. So let's have a look at what you might have got of your answer. Now, it might not be exactly the same as mine, but hopefully you've got something similar. So I said Daniel has multiplied the numerator by 18. So he's done 2 times 18 is 36. Because I found that because 2 times 18 is 36. He should have divided by 2. 18 divided by 2. And then multiplied the answer by 9. So we need to go backwards. So if you look at how I've done it in my bar model, I've done my 2/9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 parts. 2 of them are equal to 18. So I've split them up like we've been practicing into 2 parts. So each part is 9. So if I was to label each part, as we've been practicing in our previous questions, there are 9, lots of 9, and 9 times 9 is equal to 81. Okay, so make sure you post your answers to Seesaw and you're proving it there, and we can have a look at that later. Okay, let's have a look at another reasoning question. So Fiona is calculating a whole number from a fraction, so just like we have been practicing in our reply there. She says, I know that 6/10 of a number is 12. 6/10 of a number is 12. To find the whole, I can divide by 10 and multiply by 6. So in a moment, I want you to pause the video, read that another time if you need to, and think, is she correct? And explain why she is or why she is not correct. Okay? What has she done wrong, or why is she right? So pause the video and have a go. Okay, hopefully you have managed to have a go at that. So I'm going to show you my answer. Again, it might be a little bit different to yours, but hopefully very similar. So Fiona is incorrect because she has mixed up the operations for the numerator and denominator. She should have divided by 6 and then multiplied by 10. So she's done it the wrong way round. She's divided by 10 and then multiplied by 6. But we'd have to divide by 6 and then times the answer by 10, okay? That would work on my bar model. And final question, a bit more challenging this time, a bit more to work out. Sia and Hugo are each building a domino trail. So 4/7 of Sia's trail is 12. 2/9 of Hugo's trail is 4. Who has the largest trail, and how many more does that person have? So you've got 2 questions to answer this time, and there are a couple of things in there to work out. So you may want to use a bar model to help you work out what each person has and then compare them, or you may just be able to work it out by using the numbers and calculating it. That's entirely up to you, but have a go answering both those questions and then come back when you're ready. Okay, hopefully you've managed to have a go at that. I'm going to show you my answer. Hopefully you've managed to draw a little representation to prove it as well. So 4/7 of Sia's trail is 12 dominoes. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them was equal to 12, the red ones here. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. So that's why I've labelled each part 3. So I knew that the remaining 3 were also 3 there as well. So in total, she had 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, okay, and so on. Next one was 2 nights of Hugo's Trail, okay? So 2 nights he had on there was 18. So in total, Sia had more, and she had 9 more dominoes than Hugo. Okay, that concludes today's lesson. So we've got just one more lesson left on fractions tomorrow, where we'll be looking at fractions of shape, and then we'll be doing a little review like our end of unit assessment on Friday to see what we have remembered. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye.